अस्सलामुअलैकुम, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल इजी ई लर्न। इस वीडियो में हम CS610 कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क्स की फ़ाइनल टर्म प्रिपरेशन करेंगे, जिसमें हम लेक्चर्स 19 से 45 तक टोटली कवर करेंगे। इन नोट्स को मैंने आपके हैंडआउट से प्रिपेयर किया है, क्योंकि आपका जो पेपर है वो हैंडआउट से ही बन के आता है। इस वीडियो में हम लेक्चर्स 19 से 45 तक इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस, शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस एंड इम्पोर्टेंट MCQs डिस्कस करेंगे। इस वीडियो में हम डीप एक्सप्लेनेशंस में नहीं जाएंगे कॉन्सेप्ट्स की, बल्कि हम सिर्फ कॉन्सेप्ट उसके शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस और MCQs ही जो है उन पर फोकस करेंगे। लेट्स स्टार्ट आवर वीडियो। नंबर 1 सेक्शन है हमारा 19 to 26 लेक्चर्स। इसके जो शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस हैं इंपॉर्टेंट वो ये हैं। ATM नेटवर्क्स फर्स्ट टॉपिक हमारा, व्हाट इज़ ATM एंड व्हाट डज इट सेंड डाटा इन। तो ये हम इन क्वेश्चंस को सिर्फ रीड आउट करेंगे, मैं आंसर्स नहीं पढ़ूंगी। इस फाइल को मैं आपके इस वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में शेयर कर दूंगी, और आप इस वीडियो के नोट्स को आप वहां से एक्सेस कर लीजिएगा। अगर मैं सबको डिटेल में एक्सप्लेनेशन दूंगी तो ये वीडियो काफ़ी लंबी हो जाएगी, इसलिए हम सिर्फ शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस देखेंगे और MCQs देखेंगे। व्हाट इज़ लेबल स्विचिंग? व्हाट इज़ प्रोविजनिंग? व्हाट आर 3 टाइप्स ऑफ QoS, क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विस? Why does ATM use fixed size cells instead of variable size packets? What is private network? What is public network? What is a VPN? What is connection oriented service? What is connection-less service? Difference between simplex and duplex? Difference between PVC and SVC? Define delay, define throughput. What are the 4 types of delay? What is jitter? How does traffic affect delay? MCQs. Delay measures time for one bit to travel. Throughput measures amount of data delivered. What in line before being set is called queuing delay. Jitter refers to variation inconsistency in delay. As network traffic increases 100% capacity, delay increases sharply. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक है इंटरनेट नेटवर्किंग। इस टॉपिक के इम्पोर्टेंट शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस ये हैं। व्हाट प्रॉब्लम एग्जिस्टेड इन 1970? व्हाट इज़ इंटर नेटवर्किंग? व्हाट इज़ अ राउटर? व्हाई डू ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस यूज मल्टीपल राउटर इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट वन? MCQs for this topic are: inter-networking connects different heterogeneous networks. A router's main job is to connect different networks and forward packets. Organizations use multiple routers mainly for load handling and redundancy. Next topic है TCP IP 5 layers. List the 5 layers of TCP IP with their jobs. Which layer ensures reliable delivery? Which layer handles the basic hardware wires? MCQs for this topic are: TCP IP model has how many layers? 5 layers. Which layer organizes data into frames? Data link. The application layer is used by the app you actually use, like browsers. Reliable delivery is ensured by transport layer. Next topic is IP addressing. What is an IP address? These are important short questions for that topic. A unique 32-bit number. What are 2 parts of an IP address? Why is dotted decimal notation used? What is CIDR subnetting? MCQs for this topic: an IP address is 32-bit. The prefix is an IP address identifies the device, the network. Dotted decimal notation is used to make IP addresses easy for humans to read. CIDR helps to avoid wasting IP addresses, allow flexible allocation. ये इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं। लेक्चर नंबर 19 से 26 तक इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स हैं जिन्हें आपने लाजमी याद करके जाना है पेपर से पहले। ये वीडियो इनफ है आपकी एग्ज़ाम प्रिपरेशन के लिए। इस वीडियो के अलावा आपको कोई और वीडियो देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी इंशाल्लाह। और इन नोट्स को मैं इस वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में इसका लिंक दे दूँगी, तो आपने एग्ज़ाम से पहले इन नोट्स को लाजमी पढ़ के जाना है। लेक्चर नंबर 27 to 30 इंपॉर्टेंट शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस। लेक्चर नंबर 27 का टॉपिक है एड्रेस रेजोल्यूशन ARP। व्हाट इज एड्रेस रेजोल्यूशन? व्हेन डू वी रिजॉल्व एन एड्रेस? व्हाट आर थ्री मेथड्स ऑफ एड्रेस रेजोल्यूशन? व्हाट इज हैशिंग? डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेंट्रलाइज्ड एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड रेजोल्यूशन? MCQs for that topic are address resolution maps IP address to hardware address. Computer resolves an address only for computers on the same physical network. Which is not an address resolution method? Fragmentation. Direct indexing works best when addresses are from a compact small range. Lecture number 28. What are two types of ARP messages? What does encapsulation mean? How does a computer know a frame contains an ARP message? Why does ARP use caching? What are two steps when an ARP message arrives? At which layer does ARP work? MCQs for this topic are ARP message types are request response. Ethernet type field value for ARP is 0 multiplier 806. ARP catches responses to avoid repeated requests for the same address. ARP operates at the network interface layer. Lecture number 29 topic IP datagrams and forwarding. What is datagram? What is UL header size? What is routing table? What is an address mask used for? Does the next hop address appear inside the IP datagram? What is best effort delivery? MCQs for this topic standard IP header size, no options, 20 bytes. Routing table stores destination, network, and next hop. IP provides best effort delivery. The next hop address is never written inside the IP datagram. Lecture number 30 Encapsulation, Fragmentation, and Reassembly. What does TTL mean and do? What is MTU? What is fragmentation? How are fragments identified and reassembled correctly? Where does reassembly happen? What happens if one fragment is lost? Can a fragment be fragmented again? MCQs for this topic are TTL field prevents packets looping forever. MTU refer to maximum frame size a network allows. Fragments are matched back together using ident field and fragment offset. Reassembly of fragment happens the final destination only. If one fragment is lost, the whole datagram is dropped and resent. Important topics for these sections are Lecture number 31 to 40 Important MCQs and short questions. Lecture number 31 topic is IPv6 basics. Why was a new IP version needed? How big is an IPv6 address compared to IPv4? What are new features of IPv6? What is flow label used for? MCQs. IPv6 addresses are 128-bit. IPv4 was mainly replaced due to address space exhaustion. Extra information in IPv6 is stored in optional extension headers. Flow label help with identifying a path for QoS, example audio video. Lecture number 32 IPv6 fragmentation and addressing plus ICMP intro. Question number 1 Who performs fragmentation in IPv6 source or routers? What is path MTU discovery? What are three special IPv6 address types? How are IPv6 addresses written? What is ICMP and why is it needed? Name a few ICMP error message types. Name a few ICMP informational messages. MCQs for this topic. In IPv6, fragmentation is done by only the source. Path the MTU discovery find the smallest MTU along the path. A cluster address delivers to one member out of a group. ICM is mainly used for reporting errors. Destination unreachable is a type of error message. Lecture number 33 Topic is ICMP in action, ping and trace route. How does ping test reachability? How does trace route tracer work? How is a final destination detected in trace route? How does ICMP help find path MTU? MCQs for this topic are: ping uses which ICMP messages? Echo request reply. Trace route works by increasing TTL value. A router that drops a packet due to TTL 0 sends time exceeded message. ICMP fragmentation required. Message is triggered when a datagram is too big for a router's MTU. Lecture number 34, UDP, Datagram Transport Service. What's difference between IP and transport protocols? What are main characteristics of UDP? What does message oriented mean? What are types of UDP interaction? How does UDP identify an application endpoint? MCQs for this topic are: IP provides computer to computer communication. UDP is connectionless. UDP identifies applications using protocol port numbers. Message oriented means UDP keep each message as a complete unit. Example of a UDP interaction type: one to many. Lecture number 35, UDP format and TCP introduction. How is UDP packet encapsulated? What service does TCP provide unlike UDP? List TCP's main services. What is a virtual connection in TCP? MCQs for this topic are: UDP packet is encapsulated inside a IP datagram. Unlike UDP, TCP provides reliable connection-oriented delivery. A TCP virtual connection is a software created illusion of connection. TCP communication style is full duplex. Lecture number 36, TCP reliability, retransmission and handshakes. Question number 1 for this lecture: how does TCP achieve reliability? What is adaptive retransmission? What is window in TCP flow control? How many steps in TCP's handshake to open close connection? Why does TCP use random sequence numbers when starting a connection? MCQs for this topic: TCP ensure reliability mainly using acknowledgements and retransmission. Adaptive retransmission adjusts timing based on current round trip time estimate. The window in TCP refers available buffer space at receiver. TCP handshake uses how many steps to open close a connection? 3. Random sequence number help avoid confusion from all duplicate data after reboot. Lecture number 37, Congestion Control, TCP segment and NAT intro. Question number 1 for this topic: what is goal of congestion control? What does TCP call its message unit? What is NAT and why was it introduced? इस वीडियो में हम एक्सप्लेनेशंस में नहीं जाएंगे, मैं सिर्फ आपको इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस और एमसीक्यूज ही बताऊंगी इस वीडियो में। और इस फाइल का लिंक जो है वो मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दे दूंगी, तो आप एग्ज़ाम से पहले इस पूरी फाइल को अच्छे से रीड करके जाइएगा। इंशाल्लाह आपकी तैयारी अच्छे से हो जाएगी और आपको ये एक वीडियो ही आपकी प्रिपरेशन के लिए इनफ होगी। What does the NAT box actually do? MCQs for this topic: congestion control mainly works by reducing window size when loss occurs. TCP's message unit is called segment. NAT was introduced mainly because of IP address exhaustion. NAT translates private IP address, global IP address. Lecture number 38, NAT variants. What's the difference between the basic NAT and NAPT? What is TCP splicing? What is twice NAT used for? What is CAT? Why is NAT useful at home? MCQs for this topic are: NAP, NAPT changes IP addresses and port numbers. TCP splicing connects two independent TCP connections. Twice NAT is mainly needed when a site runs server accessible from the internet. CAT is typically used by cable TV internet providers. At home, NAT allows multiple devices to share one public IP. Lecture number 39, IP routing. Difference between forwarding and routing. Difference between static and dynamic routing. What does a typical static routing table look like for a host? How do routers using dynamic routing share information? MCQs for this topic are: forwarding refers actually transferring a datagram, routing refers to propagating, updating routing information, and static routing, the table is a set at boot and does not change automatically. Dynamic routing requires special routing software that updates the table. Lesson number 40, IP routing, autonomous systems, IGP, EGP. Why cannot all internet routers just exchange info with each other directly? What is an autonomous system AS? What are two broad classes of internet routing protocols? Why is the autonomous system concept needed? MCQs हैं इस टॉपिक के. Grouping routers into autonomous systems mainly helps avoid overwhelming the network with routing info. An autonomous system is defined as a group of networks routers under one administrative authority. IGP is used within one autonomous system. EGP is used between different autonomous systems. ये इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स हैं इन लेक्चर्स के, जिसे आप लाजमी करके जाइएगा. लेक्चर नंबर 41 से 45 ये हमारा लास्ट पार्ट है इस वीडियो का, और हमारे यहाँ पर सिलेबस भी कंप्लीट हो जाएगा इस पार्ट को कवर करने के बाद. लेक्चर नंबर 41, IP routing, BGP and RIP intro. What role does an ISP play in routing? Name three main internet routing protocols. What are main features of BGP? What are the main features of RIP? इस फाइल के अंदर मैंने हर कॉन्सेप्ट में एक डेली लाइफ एग्जांपल ऐड की है आपकी इजी और क्विक अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए और आपके कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर करने के लिए. तो आपने इस फाइल को लाजमी पढ़ कर जाना है. MCQs. BGP is mainly used between different autonomous systems. BGP uses which transport protocol? TCP. RIP measures distance using hop count. RIP is an example of IGP. RIP uses which transport protocol? UDP. RIP uses which routing algorithm? Distance vector. Lecture number 42, IP routing. Why was OSPF created? What type of protocol is OSPF, IGP or EGP? What algorithm does OSPF use? List OSPF's key features. What is an OSPF graph? What are OSPF areas? MCQs for this topic. OSPF was designed mainly to scale routing for large organizations. OSPF is a type of IGP. OSPF uses which routing algorithm? Link state. In an OSPF graph, routers are represented as nodes. OSPF areas help reduce overhead by summarizing routes between areas. On multi-access networks like Ethernet, OSPF optimizes by having only one designated router broadcast. Lecture number 43, IP routing, multicast routing basics. What is Internet multicast routing considered difficult? In what way is an IP multicast group anonymous? What is ICMP? What are three approaches to multicast datagram forwarding? MCQs. IP multicast groups are described as anonymous because no one knows the exact identity number of members. IGMP is used to let a host join leave a multicast group via its local router. Flood and prune works best when the group is small and on nearby contiguous LANs. Flood and prune avoid loops using reverse path broadcasting RPB. Configuration and tunneling is ideal for groups that are geographically separate out with few members per site. Core-based discovery builds a delivery structure shaped like a tree. लेक्चर नंबर 44, इसके बाद हमारा सिर्फ एक लेक्चर रह जाएगा. अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छी लग रही है तो आपने मेरे चैनल को लाजमी सब्सक्राइब करना है. इस चैनल को मैंने स्पेशली वीयू के स्टूडेंट्स की हेल्प के लिए बनाया है ताकि आपकी जो है वो प्रिपरेशन जो है वो ईजीली हो सके. अगर आपको मेरी वीडियो अच्छी लग रही है तो आप मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन को लाजमी प्रेस कीजिएगा ताकि मैं नेक्स्ट जितने भी कोर्सेज़ पर वीडियोज़ बनाऊँ तो वो आपको टाइमली रिसीव हो जाएँ. Lecture number 44, IP routing, Multicast protocol and client server model. Name main multicast routing protocols mentioned. What does DVM-RP do? What is the key idea behind PIM-DM? What does protocol independent mean in PIM? What is client-server interaction? List key characteristics of a client. List key characteristics of a server. MCQs for this topic. DVM-RP uses switch encapsulation technique, IP in IP. PIM-DM's approach is to flood data first, then prune unwanted branches. Protocol independent in PIM means it does not depend on any specific unicast routing protocol. In client-server interaction, the client actively initiates a contact. In client-server interaction, the server waits passively and can serve many clients. A server typically executes forever handling multiple remote clients. Lecture number 45. This is the last lecture for this video. इसमें हम रिवीजन करेंगे पूरे कोर्स की. समरी मैप है. पार्ट 1 में हमने पैकेट ट्रांसमिशन, पार्ट 2 इंटरनेटवर्किंग. इस जो ये सारे टॉपिक्स हैं जो लाजमी आपने करने हैं. तो यहाँ पर हमारी वीडियो कंप्लीट हो गई है. तो मिलेंगे हम नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज़. और अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छी लगी है तो आपने इसे लाइक करना है और चैनल को लाजमी सब्सक्राइब करना है. अल्लाह हाफिज़.